What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Team Chat Podcast of Video Game Show. I am one of your hosts, Jarrett Wilson, joined to my right by Rachel Mogan.
Buongiorno.
Buongiorno to you as well. How are you this fine day?
It's actually quite cold outside, but I figured that if I wore my tropical print shirt, that I would like manifest it.
But it was so sunny today, though.
It was. It
After
was so
the
beautiful.
deluge of rain that we got over the weekend.
Yeah.
It was nice to have like a just straight sunny day today, which it was like nice 60-degree day and everything. I mowed the yard today.
Well, I think at my house it was 57, which was a little cold for me.
Yeah. The Arctic
chilly.
over there.
Yeah.
That's cold.
Very cold.
That's cold. I'm glad
right
you were
now.
able to make it.
It's been a struggle.
Well, we hope that listening to us talk about video games today, the ones we love, the ones we hate, and everything in between, will not be a struggle and will actually be an enjoyable experience for you all. And you
All
can
of
do
the
that.
YouTube comments, it was a struggle.
This was a struggle to get through. We hated this episode. But you can listen on podcast services around the World Wide Web, such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and other audio places that you can do that. Yeah, you can also watch a video version of each episode over on our YouTube channel. Links for all that are in the description below. You can find us on social media at Facebook, Threads, and Instagram, as well as join our Discord server where we have a lot of great conversation when we're not here recording the show. And finally, if you would like to help make the show bigger and better by giving us a little bit of cash, like $1 a month, a little bit of cash every month,
a little bit of cash.
little bit, just like these cool folks: Ark, Super Saiyan Ace, Erica L, Elise F, Zach S, Susan M, James K, Michael B, Andrew M, Michael S, and Brandon W have done. They've headed over to patreon.com/teamchatpodcast, whereas for as little as $1 a month, you can support the show, and in return, we give you cool perks like getting the episodes early before their general Thursday release and access to a private channel over on our Discord salary.
Our Discord salary.
I wish we had a Discord salary. We wish
That'd be
Discord was paying
nice.
us. That'd be wonderful.
I wish we were both employed by Discord.
Over on our Discord server, the Rogues Gallery. So you can go check out all that stuff. But if you can't support the show monetarily, that's totally fine. We completely understand. And there are a lot of free ways to support the show, such as telling your friends, subscribing wherever you listen to or watch the show, and of course, leaving us comments, reviews, and all that good stuff. Help gets the good word of Team Chat Podcast out there to the masses. And for that, we are eternally grateful and thankful and love each and every one of our viewers, listeners, and patrons alike. Heart emoji.
I almost forgot.
Didn't
oh my
have to
God,
rush
that
me
was
today.
close.
I was wondering.
Yeah.
See, you almost threw me
Jeez.
off because you weren't trying to rush me today.
I should start doing it on purpose. Play mind games.
But before we get, we do have a got the song and hint for this week's soundtrack spotlight. So stick around to the end of the episode to
good.
get to listen to that. It's a good one. And but before we get into the main topic of the day, let's get a little bit of news and what's coming out soon in our moment with Mogan.
I can't believe we are already into February for starters. That is,
we're halfway.
It's kind of fucking me up.
We're halfway through February.
It's a little bit uncomfortable.
I hope everyone had a wonderful Valentine's Day.
Yeah, we hope everybody has a wonderful Valentine's Day. Speaking of Valentine's Day, we were both talking about how Banishers Ghosts of New Eden is already out as of this episode's air date. It actually didn't come out on Valentine's Day itself, which I think is a real mismarketing opportunity.
Yeah.
Minor crime, but it is out now for PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC.
Nice.
I'm probably
excited.
I'm excited too. I'm probably gonna pick it up this weekend after I get a few more good Tekken practice sessions in.
Nice.
Other games that are also out now, and one of which I am actually I'll just mention the one that I actually care about.
Okay.
Ultros. So I know that this is a game that I mentioned last time, and I was like, what the fuck is Ultros? And then I went and looked it up.
Yeah, I still have no idea.
It looks like a really cool indie Metroidvania game, but it's got some beautiful colors. I will say I watched the trailer and I was like, well, that's just Hollow Knight, which is a good thing to me.
Right.
So, and because Silk Song probably won't be
You're
out
still waiting on
for
that.
30 more years, so
Yeah.
I figured, what harm can Ultros do? Maybe it will tide me over for when the next game finally comes out. So Ultros is coming out, or is out now for PS5, PS4, and PC. And then as of this episode's air date on February 15th, Lake, remember Lake, is getting its Switch port on February 15th. Plate Up is also coming to PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 4, and Switch. I believe previously it was already available for PC.
That sounds like an Overcooked.
It is. I think you and Sam should look.
Sam, we need to play some Unplate.
I've seen
What is it?
some
Unplate?
Plate Up.
Plate Up.
Plate Up.
We need to play some Plate
I think
Up.
you and Sam should watch some trailers and then probably just buy it because I feel like you guys will love it. It's
We need that fresh Overcooked content. Like we need it. We need it stat.
It's interesting because it's almost more like restaurant management as opposed to pure cookery.
Sure,
because one of you, I mean, ideally, maybe both of you, depending on how you split the tasks, but you actually have to wait tables.
Oh,
like one of you
you're
has to
taking
go,
orders and
yeah,
doing
one
all
of you
that
has
stuff.
to take orders. You have to make sure there's not a line out of your business for
Okay,
too long,
okay.
because if people wait too long, they'll leave. So you have to mop up spills. You have
Oh,
to
no.
clear
What
the
about vomit?
tables. I don't know if they vomit.
Oh, no.
Hopefully
After eating
not.
their mom's spaghetti.
But Played Up looks really fun, and I think anybody that's into high stakes, high energy cooking and restaurant management games will probably enjoy it.
Nice.
Mario versus Donkey Kong.
I'm interested about this one.
Yeah, that's coming out on February 16th,
you know, I love my
very
boy Donkey
soon.
Kong.
Yeah, you love DK. Both of us are pretty mal on Mario.
Mario
But
who?
DK, we like that guy. Wait, is it actually coming out Skull and Bones?
Oh, it's open beta was just ended. It was the 8th through the 11th.
Okay, well,
But
everybody
yeah, it's supposedly coming out.
cross your fingers and hope that Skull and Bones comes out on February 16th for PS5, Xbox Series X and S, Stadia.
Oh.
And PC, didn't they discontinue the
Yeah,
Stadia?
why would you-
I think that's a misprint. That's got to be a misprint on this
Yeah,
list.
that's weird.
That's probably just a holdover from last time.
Yeah, I guess they probably like copied and pasted it from the last one because that was what? Wait, I already blanked on what game that was.
Skull and Bones. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they've been copying that game from the coming out this year list for the last like 3 years.
I will email the editor and be like, "Excuse me, I noticed a
You're
discrepancy
still
here."
referencing Stadia, and that is incorrect.
A game that I couldn't tell you a thing about it, Madison, is out for the PlayStation VR 2 on February 20th. Oh, I hope I say this right. Quomp? Comp? It's
Sounds
with
right
a
to
Q.
me.
Q-O-M-P. Quomp 2 is out for PS5, Xbox Series XS, PlayStation 4, Switch, and PC on the 20th as well. Last Epoch is coming to PC on February 21st. Terminator, Dark Fate, Defiance is out for PC on the 21st as well. Inculinati. Sure, is out for PS5, Xbox Series XS, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC on the 22nd. Pacific Drive is out on the 22nd for PlayStation 5 and PC only. Sons of the Forest is out for PC on the 22nd. Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons remake.
Have you seen that? Like the footage of that game?
It very much reminds me of A Plague Tale.
But have you seen the remake?
No, I haven't.
Oh,
Does it
looks,
look good?
It looks like okay. I'm going to pull it up real
Yeah,
quick
you pull
because
up some
like
stills.
it looks so good, like and so different from what the original looked like.
How old was the original?
Brothers, what is it? Brothers,
A Tale of Two Sons.
A Tale of Two Sons.
Yeah.
Okay, so the original one came out in.
Oh, yeah. Okay, this looks familiar. I have seen
Okay,
this before.
so yeah, so
Oh, 2013.
2013
It
was
is
the
quite
original, but like
old.
look at the art style here.
Yeah, right.
And then we have so this is not fun for you audio listeners. I apologize.
But it's fun for me.
I'll add some images in. But here's the remake.
Oh, they went
Like,
with like a much more. That's why it's reminding me of A Plague Tale Innocence.
Yeah,
because it has.
It looks,
I mean,
it's still like very cartoon.
fantastical.
Fantastical. Yes, I almost said cell shaded, but not quite.
I mean, A Plague Tale is very realistic, but this
Yes,
is just a little.
This is
bit
like an
closer
in
to that.
betweener, something like that. But no, I was surprised how much they changed up the art style just for the
I
remake.
also can't believe that game is over 10 years old.
Yeah, wild.
Oh, all right. So, Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons remake is out for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series XS, X and S, and PC on February 28th. The last two games closing us out for the month are Star Wars Dark Forces Remaster.
God, I'm so excited.
For basically everything, all consoles and PC. And then another game that I'm like, oh, I do want to play it, but probably not for many months yet. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Nice.
It's coming out exclusively for the PlayStation 5 on February 29th. A day that doesn't exist
A leap
most
day.
of the time.
Happy Leap Day.
That's fun.
I hope you
feel
see
like
Leap Day William this year.
I feel like more game companies should have tried to take advantage of
Right?
this.
I'm
That is
surprised.
such a that's fun. Anyways, so Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is out on the 29th, closing out the
cool.
rest of the month.
Very cool. A game, not on your list because it's already out, but one that I was like, man, that looks kind of fun. And now that it's out, I am honestly really excited for it and want to try out too. But like this month's already stacked because the Dark Forces remaster, hello, and of Ghosts of New Eden, like that's gonna be cool. Helldivers 2 looks surprisingly like a good time.
I don't know anything about Helldivers, but I have seen many people on my Steam list,
Yeah.
like my friends list, like so and so is playing Helldivers 2, and I'm like, what is that? I think maybe Father Mike, just Mike Plays, I think is
yeah.
playing it right now.
Maybe.
He might be playing it on the PlayStation, but
But yeah, that one, like it's all over my TikTok for some reason right now. I mean, I guess because it just came out, but it's like a team-based shooter and everything like that. And I want to say, like, I don't know if it's a looter shooter necessarily as much as it is just like a clear out the level and like extract out kind of shooter, but it literally looks like it's Starship Troopers, which is very cool. And so like kind of some kind of like play off of that. It's not the same, but it just looks like it a lot. And so that automatically already has me hooked. But just the gameplay of it, the combat systems of it, and just like the overwhelming forces of bugs that you have to fight, it looks ridiculous. And I'm here for it. And it's only $40.
I'm not gonna lie, I knew so little about Helldivers, I assumed it was an aquatic diving based game.
No, not at all. But
I am quite mistaken.
Talking about Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons, getting the remake looking so much different. Helldivers 1 was an isometric top-down game. Now this one is a full like third person like level shooter and stuff like that. It looks pretty cool. So I might try to snag that one up at some point too. But
that's not what we're here to talk about.
That's not what we're here to talk about at all.
Fuck Helldivers. On to the main topic.
On to the main topic of the day, which does come from one of our listeners and friend of the show, Bro Mogan. He wanted to ask us about what some of our worst, best, however you want to classify it, video game pet peeves.
I think we'll call them worst.
Worst pet peeves? Yeah, things that just drive us nuts.
As pet peeves increase in intensity, you would call them getting worse, not better.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So yeah, it's our gaming pet peeves, the things that just really grind our gears.
Yes. And they're like at first when we got the recommendation, and then this was months ago now. Oh, no, it wasn't. It was last month. Whatever.
This year. Man, it's 2024. It's a crazy long one already.
When we got the suggestion, I was like, oh, yeah, I feel like I can think of a bunch of them. And then when we actually decided to do the episode, I was like, I can't think of a single one.
My brain is empty. Yeah.
And then I gave it slightly more than 5 minutes of thought. And I was like, oh, never mind. I actually have quite a few things that do really grind my gears. So I feel like there's going to be a lot of heated discussion around this.
Well, to start us off then, let's read his suggestion of one of his pet peeves, which is, for example, he says, why do games have a run button? Running should be the default speed. Why must I spend the entire game with one button glued down because walking is too slow 99% of the time?
Yeah, there are a concerning amount of games that is, I can't think of many modern games that are really bad about that, but in ye olden days, like the PlayStation 1 and 2 days, I feel like that was everywhere. The game that I immediately think of, no surprise, The Legend of Dragoon. Because it's true. If you wanted a dart to run around the map, you had to hold down the circle button. And it's just like, my thumb is getting tired.
You know what?
Because you run the whole game. Who would walk?
Since I've been replaying it recently, another game that does that is Grand Theft Auto 5. It has you have to hold X to run, but to like run faster, you have to press it repeatedly.
That's awful.
And then you like hold it to like run at that speed and like maintain and stuff like that. Because the more you run, it increases your like agility or stamina meter
it's a stat.
And stuff like that to up your stats.
Oh my god!
So if you swim, for instance, it like will do a little bit more to like up your stamina and different things like that. But yeah, Grand Theft Auto 5 is one that you have to like which I hate that. I kind of like understand it with when you're riding a horse or something or a creature or some kind of mount, and you have to like get them into a gallop, and there's different speeds of their run. I understand the like clicking the X button multiple times. But yeah, if it's just a sit and hold, I was going to refute this a little bit, saying that some games do require the change in walk speed. For example, like in Assassin's Creed, you want to be able to be slow.
You have to be able to blend into the crowd.
Blend in, and walk slowly and everything like that. But then, yeah, there are definitely times you need to take off, which that one does have a run button too, which is one of the button clicks, I want to say. Left stick click, I think, on PlayStation PS5.
But that's a single click, right? You click it and then you're running, so it's not a hold down.
But you do have to kind of hold the X button when you're doing parkour or like free running to kind of like maintain your path and everything like that and keep a consistent speed. So it's like, I understand it in some situations, but yes, like kind of the, I think it has its place, but I definitely understand where he's coming from with why do I have to like go to this extra effort just to move at the speed that feels natural?
And specifically regarding what you described about GTA 5, that sounds like a nightmare for anybody that has any kind of mobility issue with their hands. Like, I can't imagine having to do that all the time.
Honestly, I will say GTA feels like a game that should be played on the PC just because of like, I don't know why, I don't know. Rockstar games in general, I have a really tough time with their aiming mechanics, and just like there's so much you're having to do. Like, it doesn't matter if I'm playing Red Dead Redemption or Grand Theft Auto 5. Shooting. Here's one of mine.
Oh boy, here it comes.
It was not on my list, but it was brought up.
We got to an organic pet peeve.
Fucking combat while driving a car or riding a horse.
Oh,
get out of here.
Yes, I can agree with those.
Because especially in Grand Theft Auto 5, it is fucking difficult.
Yes.
Now, granted, Grand Theft Auto, like, it also has the ability where, like, if you're doing like total full aim assist, you hit the aim button and it automatically like locks to your target. So sure, you can do that. But if you're outside of a vehicle, to me personally, that is the most annoying form of aim assist ever because it's so snappy and corrective. So I have to lower it to like a slightly less correcting auto aim, or not auto aim, but aim assist, and for controller and stuff like that. But then when you're in a car, you're trying to already drive an unruly vehicle at usually top speeds to do some crazy dumbass stunt or heist pull off. Yeah. And then you're telling me you want me to pop my little head out with a gun and try to shoot some people while maintaining a accurate speed and course of this vehicle and maintaining control? No. Absolutely the hell not.
Absolutely not.
I can't do it. I'm just not coordinated enough for it.
I
so
completely
there we
agree.
go. Pet peeve.
Yeah,
I hate fucking car combat.
That one also wasn't on my list, and I don't really have a good reference point for car-based combat, not including...
Where you have to drive and shoot at the same time.
Not including Twisted Metal, which is a different category. But you do have to do that in another modern game that I wish you didn't, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom.
Yes.
When you're on your horse and you're trying to do horse-mounted like bow and arrow shit. Oh my god, it is so annoying.
Now games can do it right. Horizon Forbidden West and Horizon Zero Dawn, mounted combat for me on that game, perfect. It feels great.
I didn't mess with it that much because I didn't like it. The most that I would ever do with the mounted combat in the one game that I played, Forbidden West, is running people over with the mount. I was like, this is the most I can do. Best I can do is run you over. I can't aim and shoot. So I would say that for me, it's a pretty across the board no from me, dog. It's going to be a no.
And maybe it's because if it's a bow and arrow, so it's like you're not like out there just like
it's not fast.
It's not fast, so it's more like precise, and you can take your time with it. That I'm fine with. But the stuff of like how it's done in a Grand Theft Auto game and stuff like that drives me up a wall.
Yeah, totally agree.
That's a bad one. What's one of yours then?
Well, so one of mine was also posted in the Discord chat when the suggestion was made, and I put it number 4 on my list because it was one of the more minor ones, and it's kind of a dual-edged one. So the meme was one of ProZD's old, it's either one of his Vines or his Shorts, where it's about when you're playing a video game and you select a dialogue option, and what it says on the screen, like, say hello, is so different than the answer that comes out. It's like, how's it going? Fucker. And you're like, whoa, no, that's not what I wanted. Like just that mismatch between what the game is telling you the dialogue option is versus what the actual delivered tone is.
Way
and
off.
Sometimes they are wildly off, and it is just the worst.
I feel like the worst offender for that for me was Life is Strange.
Yeah, Life is Strange had some real weird ones like that.
I just remember like always being like, oh, this seems like a consoling, like someone told me something really deep, and I'm like I'm like, this is the thoughtful answer, and they basically told them to go fuck themselves.
Yeah, and it's
I'm
like,
like, that's not at all what I anticipated.
I also remember that game being really, really hit or miss with the dialogue options.
Yeah.
But the additional layer on top of that I was actually thinking of first, before I went back and looked at the meme, was we've talked about this before. One of my absolute biggest pet peeves in any story or narrative driven game is the illusion of choice.
Oh, yes.
Really, that's one of my like, what's the opposite of a 10 commandment? The 10 no-mandments?
I mean, technically a 10 commandment would work because they were
Deadly
always
sins.
thou shalt not.
Yes.
So it's like thou shalt, not.
That's one of my like gaming 7 deadly sins is the when you are just giving somebody options of like choices in game that do not affect any of the outcome.
You can like tell the outcome is gonna like still be the same. It feels very directed.
I mean, speaking of Horizon Forbidden West, I feel like that's one of the games where it gave you certain choices.
You were still going to wind up at the same conclusion.
Absolutely did not matter. Like the one of whether or not you choose to spare or kill, what's her name? Reva? The Tanaka rebel leader.
Angela Bassett's character.
Yes. Whatever her name was. Because you killed her, didn't you?
No, I saved her.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I also saved her.
I chose not to because I was like, we've all learned our lesson here. Let's be friends.
Yeah, so I let her live. So she comes with you to the final act of the game.
Yep.
Only to die in like the briefest off-screen cutscene.
I forgot about her death in that game. Yeah,
everybody did, because it was like all she does is she's like, I'll hold them off, and then there's a cave in, and you assume she's dead.
Yeah,
and it's like, wow, that's so. It didn't affect combat. It didn't affect anything that actually happened in that part of the game. She doesn't like give you a boost
because you've already done the boss fight against her.
You're already done.
Yeah.
So she just comes along with you for no good reason. Not a good story payoff. Not a good mechanical payoff. I was furious.
Yeah, because she was such a great character.
Angela Bassett deserves better. She's the
she
queen
really
of my heart.
Oh my God. You're destroying things.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm getting too heated.
This episode, I didn't expect such emotion from us on this one. But no, that one is a very good one because, it's like you can tell the games, especially when they're like promoted as ones like, you have choice and your choices will matter. And then you get into it and you're like, no, I fucking don't. Solution A was always going to happen. It doesn't matter. Similar one, but yeah, that one's kind of a big one. I understand that one too.
Another more recent example, and I only know this from secondhand information, but I have heard many people complain that in Starfield, you can, you sort of have that illusion of being able to do whatever you want. Like you can go into any, I don't know, space station or whatever and just start mowing people down, except for the story important NPCs. Like you don't really have full choice.
Right.
Because you can't actually kill everyone there if that's what you want to do. Certain people have literal in-game plot armor, regardless of whether or not that's the way you as a person want to play a game.
Interesting.
That is not pretending, but that purports to have such a broad range of choice that you can make.
Is Baldur's Gate 3 like one of the only games that does give you like full or like veins in that games in that thread? Because like that's very D&D modeled after, and everything like that. So like obviously we even in our joint playthrough wound up killing a very major NPC.
Sorry, Halson.
And so
we all thought he was hot too.
I know we didn't get
we
to
all
have bear
wanted
sex.
that bear sex, and now we'll never get it.
Never get it. Gonna have to
we
restart.
accidentally scared off Asterion, so he's not even part of our party
he's not
anymore.
going to be around either.
I mean,
we just really fucked it up.
Yeah, geez,
We fucked up the love.
but I stopped everybody else from killing him. Everybody else wanted him to die.
I'm a pro Asterion.
I saved
I want him to
him.
stick around.
I mean, he's not with us anymore, but he is alive.
He's elsewhere. But still, in that game, you literally can kill anyone.
Yes.
So like that one does feel like the promise of true choice is really
it's
there.
actually being delivered. Yeah, I would agree with that.
And it's even fine when like I would even say games that have like a reputation is like somewhat in that same vein, but it's because it's like Red Dead Redemption 2. Didn't realize it's going to be so Rockstar heavy. But in Red Dead 2, like you have an honor system, and it's like depending on if you're honorable, the game you have once ending, and if you're not dishonorable, good God, you can't. You get a different version of the same ending, but it's like the bad, quote unquote, bad ending where you have the good one. So like that one, in that case, it's like I understand it because a game like Red Dead is very directed in like the story and narrative it's trying to tell. So I understand like giving you these choices that you can make that will reward you in that way of getting the good or bad ending. That is cool. I think it's in like a good middle ground to either having the full choice, but no,
that's like the Dishonored path.
Yes.
Speaking of being dishonorable, the games Dishonored, those are exactly like that.
Right. Whereas I think I agree with you. Your example from Horizon definitely is one where it's just like, well, then why give me this choice at all?
Yeah.
Because ultimately no good payoff.
Infuriating. I'm sure that if I sat on it long enough, I could think of many more games that do that because it is a consistent complaint that I have with certain games. But that's just the one that I thought of immediately because of that Angela Bassett thing. I was like, this is horse shit.
I was surprised because of being Angela Bassett.
Yeah. What a bunch of bastards.
I know, it was bad. It was not great. But speaking of boss fights, since her character was a boss fight that you had to go into in a game, this was one of mine and also shared in our Discord by a friend of the show, Ark, that boss scenes or combat scenes with an unskippable intro cinematic. Please. It is the year of our Lord 2024.
An unskippable animatic that you also can't skip through if you died and have to redo it.
Right.
Yes.
Sorry. Thank you for the clarification.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like, yeah, if you die, you have to sit there and watch the same shit every time.
Kingdom fucking Hearts.
I'm even throwing in when they give you the option to skip like by sentence or by character voice line, and so you have to like sit there and hit the square button until you like skip through the whole thing. I'm throwing that in there too, because it is, like I was saying, it is 2024. Why is that not a thing?
Yeah.
Have
they not heard of speedrunning?
Right?
Many people are not there for the dialogue.
I'm also going to throw in cinematics or extended like death cinematics when you die in a game situation or on a boss fight, and you have to like sit there and watch like 20-second thing play out before you can have another run.
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat 1 was actually an offender of that.
Really?
It had a section in it which I forgot that this is even a thing of Mortal Kombat, but I was like trying to escape from this dungeon when I was playing as Baraka, and you're like get locked in a room, gas starts pouring into it, and you gotta escape. And it's one of these like it suddenly goes, test your might, and you have to like push up a lot of buttons like really fast to like fill up a meter so you can then punch through the wall. And if you fail that, then it has like a 10 to 20 second ish thing, if you fail it, of your character like hacking up along and succumbing slowly to the poison as the rest of your like the people with you do as well. And like, for whatever reason, which again, this is kind of like calling myself out, but like, why the fuck couldn't I pass one of these test your might things? Because I thought I could do it with one finger. I actually had to get two fingers and go like to hit to fill it up. But so I failed it like 3-4 times before I finally got it. And each time you had to just like watch this like agonizingly long, cutscene of your character slowly dying. And I was just like, Jesus Christ, why? But so yes, that's always been a big one of mine. And then it's even been worse after playing Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor, because they were the first games that I've played that did not do that. And you watch this cinematic or like little video as you first meet the boss or go into the area that has the big boss fight. But if you die, you just run into the room and the fight starts.
Nice.
It doesn't even like have a load screen really. It's like if the boss is behind a door, you open the door and the boss is just standing there waiting, and as soon as you run in, the fight starts again.
Yeah.
It's so nice. And it's just weird that like, yeah, we're still having to like sit through it. And that's what, especially if it's a more difficult game, that honestly really turns me off of it, because it just is so annoying having to hear. It's like rubbing it in your face how bad you are.
It's a very different vein, but another good example of a game that I think does that kind of thing really well is Celeste. Because like, remember, there aren't really... Actually, probably Ori and the Blind Forest, too. There are, like, light cutscenes throughout.
Sure.
Specifically, the fight against Mr. Oshiro at the hotel in Celeste. Yeah. Like, there is a cutscene at the beginning, but presumably you will die at least once in that run. And I died many, many times during that run, no matter how many times I've played it. And even if you die, whether you're at the checkpoint or you're not, and you go back to the beginning, it just immediately restarts. There's no dialogue. Nice. You just get to go straight into it, and it's like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, okay. So
that should be the standard.
That's cool. It's not just Jedi Survivor.
No, it's not.
I thought those are the only ones that I know that have done it. And yeah, it's so nice having that. And because I even want to say God of War Ragnarok might not have done it, but now I'm not like completely sure either if it did. I feel like it did have to rewatch some stuff.
I can just say that one of the long-standing memes of Kingdom Hearts in my life is, I think it was the first game where you're fighting Ursula.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that was Kingdom Hearts 1. When you're fighting Ursula, I died so many times, and the cutscene before that had so much dialogue.
Oh my God.
Like 5+ minutes of dialogue. And every time I died, you just had to sit there. You just had to sit there and watch through the whole thing.
And you couldn't even do like the fast skip through?
Nope. You were just there for the whole thing again. I'm pretty sure that's one of the things they fixed when they re-released the first and second games as like the Kingdom Hearts remake or whatever. But oh my God, it was the nightmare that would not end.
Oh my God.
So there are many games out there that have done it wrong.
Which like I will give a pass to older games, because maybe that's just a thing that wasn't possible at all.
I don't think that's true.
I'll give you a pass, but now it's 2024.
Kingdom Hearts isn't that old.
It should be standard
in all games.
Oh man, that's a good one. What's another one on your list?
So my other one is really, this is like stuff that I just feel is borderline unforgivable in this day and age, and it is the total lack of, or lack of well done accessibility features. So specifically a couple, and God, I'm gonna have to ding on Horizon Forbidden West again. I love that game.
Great game.
It just has a bunch of things that really grind my gears. I remember Cody Snooty Boots telling me that it didn't have a colorblind mode.
Yeah,
which is
baffling,
inexcusable. inexcusable. What do you mean a game that has that rich of a colorful environment does not have a colorblind mode? That is just completely inexcusable. A AAA studio absolutely should have that hard-baked. Tekken 8 has colorblind mode. You don't need to see the colors to put the beat down on somebody, but they still did it. But something else that I'm actually really upset about Tekken 8 for is another accessibility that first of all, every streaming service except for Netflix, it feels like, is really bad about this. And the vast majority of games, I think, do it very poorly, is subtitles. Because even when you have a game that offers subtitles, which most of them do these days,
or all,
but most or all have subtitles for any of your dialogue scenes, but it is very rare, at least in the games that I've played, that you have any customization options for those subtitles. And specifically with Tekken 8, one of the things I'm thinking of is even when you're just in the regular menus, just the regular old UI of Tekken 8, at the distance that I am from my TV, I'm like, God, the text is so small on this menu. And part of me wants to be able to go into the accessibility features and like put it on a bigger font.
Yeah.
But you can't.
Some games do have that option.
Some games do have that option. Tekken 8, I did check, and I could not find it. Another one that is like, it's basically a deal breaker for me is the original, or I think the Wii or Wii U era Xenogears game. So Xenogears Chronicles, or it may have just been Xenogears at the time. It had the world's like laughably tiniest subtitles you've ever seen in your life. And they didn't have, another thing that's really important for customizing subtitles, you don't have the ability to A, make them bigger, which is a problem, or B, put a backing on them.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
And so for starters, they're already teeny tiny. And then if they're just white and you're watching a big JRPG cutscene with moving backgrounds and things that are going through different color gradations, those subtitles might become completely unreadable.
Yep.
It's like, this is unacceptable. I should always be able to customize the size, the font, the spacing, and the backing color of my subtitles.
Yeah.
And I just don't understand why everyone has not gotten on board with that.
Yeah.
It makes me so mad.
I mean, I understand it. I understand that there is a development process to putting in those things, but they need to be there.
That
so
should be standard. That should be standard.
That's
to
what I
all
mean. It
games.
should be one of those things standard so that everyone has the ability to enjoy and play your game. Just saying.
Just saying.
All right, let's get another one from our Discord. Let's see. One from James K. When they don't have invert y-axis.
I feel like, so inverted y-axis means that when you push down, the view goes up, right?
Yes, like when you're flying an aircraft.
Yeah. That's not how I play most of my games, but one of my good friends does. So it's like, again, that's just something that I feel like should always at least be an option.
Yeah.
Why not give people the option?
Mine is when it's like, my one to that is when, because yes, if you're playing a game, no, let me try to phrase this right. For me, with the y-axis, the problem is, and this is, I don't know if this is like a processing thing on my end, in my head, but I often, when first jumping into one, I have to like test it, be like, okay, this is right? And like get a feel for it. But then I'll like play for it for a little while, and then all of a sudden it doesn't feel right. So I'll go turn off the option to invert my axis, but then that definitely doesn't feel right. And so then I have to like try to like play with that, be like, no, it's still not right, and switch it back. And that like literally, it's most flying games or something like that. If it has a point where you have to like jump into a plane, do anything like that, that's outside of the normal like running and gunning or whatever you're doing, it takes me like a minute to be like, which way is it? And I know that's on me, but still, like, I relate.
Yeah,
it sucks.
We can relate. And then we've also got quite a few suggestions or quite a few gripes with a lot of different button-related complaints.
Yeah.
So Brandon Weber says games not having button mapping. So the inability to map your own buttons, I completely agree with that one.
I want to jump off that one because that was another one of mine. Games need to decide if they want the dodge button to be square or circle.
Yeah, we need to make a decision.
Make a decision and make it unilateral. This is like, why does it change?
Yeah.
I understand like Nintendo being like, we're different and making
quirky.
like where what is it, the one on the right side of the
A and B.
Yeah, those are like those are switched.
Those are the opposite.
They're the opposites on those. So it's like, okay, and we understand, and you're a Nintendo and you get a pass, you can do that. But why does it change game by game on like a PlayStation or Xbox game where the dodge button is like, or like roll button, evade, whatever, is it changes in between circle and square? And why do I play them back to back or at the same time? So my brain is constantly in a state of flux.
Yeah, that sounds like partially a you problem, but also I can completely relate. Are you stuck?
Yeah, I was a little stuck. The arms on this chair got stuck on his leg, so
Gotcha.
apologize for the shaky camera.
Yeah, I can also commiserate about that because in my mind, and this is largely what game was it? Oh, this is Evil Zone.
Oh, wow,
my
throwing
God,
it
I
back.
forgot about Evil. My brain supplied the answer though before I even remembered the game. This is so Evil Zone coded, like hard coded into my brain. That square is always guard. You hold square to guard.
See, to me,
that was specifically for Evil Zone, but because I played it at a formative age, square is guard at all times, no matter
interesting.
what.
See, to me, it's circle.
Oh no!
I mean, well,
no, you're
like
crazy.
technically, like L1 is my preferred like block, or is my preferred like block button if I'm using like a sword or something. But if I'm just in combat or whatever and have the ability to want to like just do a quick dodge or evade or something like that, yeah, circle all day long.
Circle, yeah, circle
But,
is dodge. Squares for shield.
In what was it? I was playing fresh off of Jedi Survivor. Also had been playing the God of War Ragnarok Valhalla DLC, and then at the same time I was playing Assassin's Creed Mirage. And in this case it was Assassin's Creed Mirage was the outlier, where square was dodge and circle is just like you're like other like drop down from things and stuff like that. So I understand like games have different control schemes and like maybe need to have a certain button do certain things, but that is especially across the board of these like third person or not even has to be like open world RPG third person kind of game, but it just seems like circle should always be evade. Can we agree?
Can we just agree?
Thank you. Decided.
Can we as a
It is
culture
decided.
make a decision about this?
Because yes, games then have control customization and you can change it and switch it around and do all that
should be
stuff.
an option.
Which should be an option. And most of the time in these games, it probably is an option. And I'm just too
default-
lazy to go and actually change it. But the default should always be that it's the same.
That's really funny. I didn't think you were going to say that.
Anyway, so that's another one of mine. What else we have on here?
The other button related one was Super Saiyan Ace was complaining that when the lower button, A on Xbox or X in PlayStation, isn't the accept button. And I feel like Nintendo is kind of, or the B button.
Yeah, so it's kind of like them being the
It's just whatever that lowest button on the little button pad
always
is,
accept.
that should always be accept. And when it's
100%.
not, it is so confusing.
100%.
And then I have another one that I think will intersect with one of our other, I think maybe Ark pointed this out, and it was one of my big pet peeves too. And this kind of touches on a couple of different things, but I'm going to sum it up as shit UI. And, and what I mean by that is specifically, and Ark mentioned this too, especially for inventory management or resource management heavy games.
Yeah.
So when you've got like a bunch of menus that seem to have been built on, so this one is something that just absolutely infuriates me. When you, and this is more related to the shit UI in general, not necessarily inventory management, but the two do have a lot of overlap. One of the things that kills me, and I feel like I haven't started seeing this until the past 5, maybe 10 years more or less, when you're playing a console game, specifically a console game, and the UI in the menus gives you a free floating cursor that you have to use the analog stick to move around.
No, thank you.
That pisses me off so much. I think Destiny is one of the big offenders of that, isn't it?
Yes, Destiny does use the
Destiny
reticle.
uses that. I can't actually.
So does actually Apex, I guess, but you're not really as much in Apex choosing an inventory like loadout. I mean, you have like your backpack and stuff like that, but it's very basic. So it's not like it's, even if you're in a match or whatever like that, it's not like it's overly cumbersome.
Yeah, I just can't stand that though.
Yeah.
Like if you're on console and they just didn't really, like it just feels like they didn't think about how they were going to take their PC game and put it on console. It's like, no,
Well,
I
the
don't.
D-pad
This isn't the
should still
Wii.
work.
Yeah, the D-pad, it should.
It should.
But it doesn't always.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying is that when you don't have the option of being able to use the D-pad to snap to the buttons instead of using the clunky, like just jiggle the stick around to get your cursor around the screen, that is unacceptable.
Yeah.
I will not play games like that. I can't do it. And basically just any game that's coming from PC to console or vice versa, and it feels like they just didn't really customize the UI enough for that transition, so it just never quite feels right on the other platform. I think that's a big pet peeve of mine.
I get it. Another one of mine, and actually this might be the last one that I've thought of so far.
Well, I've got one that I think both of us can kind of talk about.
Okay, this one is a little bit on the lower end and more of just a small, like it's a pet peeve, sure, but it's on the lower end, I would say. But it's having missable trophies that require a full replay of the game to get.
Oh yeah.
Like it's not every day that there's a game that I'm like, you know what, I want to platinum this. I want to go the distance and I want to get all the trophies. But when it does, it makes me so like I also like some of them are hidden trophies that are like, you have to like go reveal the information about it because it contains a potential spoilery thing about the game. Well, I don't want to go read all those because it could potentially spoil the game. But also, if I could miss something by not knowing that, then I'm like so anxious about like, oh, I'm going to miss something. I'm going to be checking every nook and cranny because I feel like there's not I might miss a collectible. But usually it's not a collectible because if it's that kind of a game, you usually have the option to do like a new game plus or something like that and go back, or like a free roam after you complete the game and you can just go do that stuff anyway. But it is sometimes not to just totally pick on this game, but my example is from Horizon. I've had to start, if I feel like it's going to be a game that I feel like I want to do a platinum for, I have to do a quick Google and be like, are there any missable trophies? Yeah. And just see the list. There was one for Horizon.
Which one?
It's the scan all creatures or the scan all machines.
Which machine is missable?
Okay, so story spoiler.
Oh, okay.
Apologies.
Oh, wait. Okay, I think I know which one.
I mean, the game is a couple of years old. We can say it at this point. So I would just give you fair warning. The final boss.
Yep.
If her mech suit, if you don't scan that, that's the missable. And that's the final boss.
That's the final boss.
So if you had missed that one, which I mean, to be fair, the scan option is a pretty like highly encouraged thing that you do anyway. So I feel like the chance of you missing it is probably pretty slim.
But it's possible.
But it's possible. Well, and two, I haven't done the full completion 100% platinum run of Horizon Zero Dawn yet, or Forbidden West, excuse me. But I was like checking that, and I had to go through and like make sure after I got it, because I want to say there was a couple creatures that I for some reason hadn't got, even though I'd made it to that point in the game, or machines, excuse me. And so when I scanned her and the trophy didn't pop, I was like, fuck. So then that caused me to have to go and like, double check and make sure and then find all the things that I didn't have. But still, that would have been so annoying to me.
Yeah.
That and I know it happened in other games that I have actually been going on the platinum for, but that's the one, like, I know I haven't gone to platinum in that one, but like still, if I was, and that's just an example I can think of, and I had realized I missed that one and that was the thing I missed, I would have been pissed if I had to replay the whole game, because let's just be straight, I don't have all the time in the world to replay all these games, to do multiple playthroughs of these games. Yeah. I get one, and that's usually it. Yep. Unless it's one that I just absolutely love and I have to go back to it again. So like the chance of having my potential trophy quest thwarted before it even begins, it drives me nuts.
You know what game I thought you were going to talk about that? I thought you were going to talk about your favorite.
The Last of Us? No?
The Order 1886.
The Order 18... Wait, which one did I miss on that?
I think you mentioned to me while I was playing it on stream that one time that I had to be on the lookout for the newspaper collectibles.
Yes. Yeah, the newspapers.
Because those are missable.
Another game. Oh, here's the other game that did it. Senua's Sacrifice.
Oh.
The little pedestals that you go to, that you would find, that you would like interact with, and you would hear somebody's voice like telling you like giving you like a backstory kind of thing. I missed one. And that's the last trophy I need for Senua's Saga. Like, granted, that game's not super long, so I could switch in get in another run, especially before Hellblade 2 comes out. So I'll probably still get that one. But still, it's sitting there, and I'm at 99% on that trophy list, and it's killing me.
That sucks, bro.
So like that's a big one. Granted, I'll give it a pass if it is like a new game plus thing or like has a mission select, and you can go back to that mission and be like, oh, I need to get this very story specific thing and do it there. That's fine. That's a pass. But if it requires a full replay, no, get out of here.
Get the fuck out of here.
Just leave.
This isn't exactly the same, but speaking of trophies, it is a pet peeve of mine having to replay the game on hard mode.
Yeah.
That's a no.
Well,
it's a hard no from me, bro.
That's why I'm not going to ever platinum Last of Us.
Absolutely.
I know there's no way in hell I'm going to be able to beat grounded mode, but you have to be able to beat grounded mode to get the trophy.
No.
And so you actually have to beat the game on like the hardest difficulty to get all the difficulties, and then beat it again on grounded to be able to get all the complete the game trophies.
That is,
I'm calling out on that one. It's not great. It's not great.
That sucks major balls.
Okay, so what is the one that you think is going to get us both?
So my last one, we both have a game that we definitely agree on, and then you might have one that is also a good example of this. Bad maps.
Oh, yeah.
I cannot stand a game that gives you a map and then the map is basically borderline unusable.
Yeah.
And the first example I thought of was Control. Because Control's map blows.
I'm trying to remember it. I got to look it up.
It was just like this kind of stark black and
remember us
white, very
talking about it.
grayscale thing. The map is so lame. But the example that I thought you might talk about, and I don't know if this was your experience, but when I was looking up for like other people's opinions of bad maps.
Oh yes, the Control map was terrible.
Like looking at it, I'm getting sweaty.
I forgot about it. Yeah, because it was like so hard to tell
it was so confusing.
which level things were on.
Yes.
I mean, here I'm assuming because it's like the highlighted areas are what's the level you're actually on.
Yeah.
But it still was. Yeah. No, I forgot.
It was
about
so
that.
hard to tell where you had already been, where you hadn't been, where you were. I frequently found myself looking at the map and just going, I truly cannot figure out where the fuck I am on this map. And then one that a lot of people had complaints about on Reddit was Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor.
I was actually going to bring this up. They're not great. I love it because it is kind of like it's a hologram projected from BD1. And so that's kind of cool. But just like it's 3D and you can like move and change your map and like look around and like, rotate the map around and different stuff like that. But it's like, it's too much. It's like, it's too much detail to the map.
It's too detailed and you're just like, it's
just so
figuring
confusing.
out where to
Especially,
zoom in.
and there are some times because of what you're trying to zoom in and see, finding the correct angle to actually see the path, near impossible. And so there was a lot of times. So I was actually going to bring up, Survivor and Fallen Order did not have the greatest map system.
Bummer.
What's another? I feel like Doom. The newer Doom games also didn't have my favorite map in the world either.
I wouldn't be able to comment on those. I'm not cool enough to
It had
play
the thing
Doom.
where you could like find a map console and like unlock the whole map for everything. But that was a little bit actually Mass Effect 1 also kind of like it's a simplistic map, but I also found myself being a little bit just like what am I doing here? Where am I actually at?
Yeah.
And then like translating that to after seeing, it's like, I need to go up and to the right. And then for some reason in game, it was like, that's not the way I need to go. I'm very confused, but yeah.
I mean, games where I feel like the map is really fun and like an integral part of the game. Another good example, and some people will disagree with me on this, I personally love Hollow Knight's map. I think the fact that you have to go find an NPC who will sell the map to you
Very cool.
and like he's drawing them out in real time, it hard bakes it into the game. Like it's a fun little thing that you get to do in every new area. Getting the map feels like an accomplishment. And then if you don't have the map for somewhere, you're
And Ori and the Will of the Wisp did that too.
Yeah, or
with,
the way that
you would
Ori's
buy it
map
from
was.
Lupo.
Yes, I really like that too. So any game that like bakes the map into its gameplay like that, I think is really fun. And I also like the way that both Ori and Hollow Knight did it, where you've got the map which highlights the main areas that you can get to. But in most cases, or in many cases, I should say, they don't include the secret hidden areas.
Yeah.
So there's still the option for you to find the hidden areas, so you still have a reason to go out and explore beyond what the map is telling you, because you never know where you're going to have secret hidden walls.
Yeah.
Illusory walls in the Dark Souls of the world. People love that hidden shit. I want to find the secret stuff.
So then my question is, do you prefer a map? Because like I love the ones like I want to say Far Cry 6. Or no, the more recent, Far Cry 5, Far Cry 6, I want to say, had like geographic, like you can see the like...
topographical.
Topographical
Yes.
maps. I appreciate that.
I do too.
So then I can know like, I can't get over this mountain.
Yes.
That I'm stuck in front of. That one is always really nice. But would you prefer the more like top-down like controls map where it's like the highlighted areas what you're in and then like the subsequent darker levels below are like represent levels, or would you prefer the method of Ori and the Will of the Wisp Blind Forest where it's like a cutaway and you see the levels?
Very good question. I prefer the cutaway.
Same.
I think that's such a
So
more
much more
intuitive way to...
navigable.
Yes, so much more
Navigatable.
Navigable? Navigable. Yeah.
Way of looking at the map.
boy.
Yeah, because they are doing it with the top down and even the 3D model of Survivor and Fallen
They are
Order.
so
It's rough.
confusing.
It's
Yeah,
it's
it's rough
confusing,
stuff.
and I don't want to have to like feel like I'm completing a puzzle just to figure out where the hell I'm at.
Me neither.
So
Yeah, it's a hard pass for me.
it's a hard pass for me too. Man, that was a good list.
Yeah.
That was
Good, solid
fun.
list.
We did like we were trying to
All
figure
these
out what to
things
do.
about games we hate.
We haven't done that in a while.
Yeah, we actually haven't.
But no, we were like talking about what to do this week, and I was like, we just did 3 episodes in a row, 3 reviews in a row. So like, it's good to have a little bit of spice of variety.
Right after you got off Tekken the other night,
Yeah.
Bro Mogan was like, "When are you guys gonna do my episode?" And I was like, "What? What are you talking about?"
We forgot. Oopsies.
Oopsies, we
But
forgot.
no, it's a great one. I remember when he said it, when he posted it in
Yeah, it's a
the
good
Rogues
one.
Gallery chat, I was like, oh snap, that is
Yes.
a good one.
Suggestion.
So,
and we
thank you for the
definitely want to,
suggestion.
we definitely want to hear everybody else's gaming pet peeves. We're
For
sure there
sure.
are many more that we probably haven't touched on yet.
We'll have to do a volume 2 at some point.
Yeah.
But I knew this was going to be one that, because I was like you when we first talked about it, I was like, I don't know. Like, I like games too much to have a pet peeve.
All games are
All
perfect.
games are wonderful.
I could never disparage any of them.
And so it did take me a second, but yeah, I was pretty happy of the circle and square one. I was like, that one fucking sucks.
Oh boy.
But anyway, yes, please let us know your thoughts, your biggest pet peeves. Send us an email at teamchatpodcast@gmail.com. Like I said, join our Discord, follow us on social media, comment with us there, talk about it on YouTube. We would love to hear from you. But before we go, we do have to do our soundtrack spotlight, which, like I said at the beginning of the episode, our hint is provided to us by our good friend Kurok.
I don't know what this one is, so I'm going to be able to guess
All right.
too.
So the hint is this musical. Sorry, let me read it again. This masterful piece of music is nearly as twisted as its creator. This masterful piece of music. Sorry, in-game creator. There's a little hint for you.
Oh, okay.
Not like, yes, someone actually had to compose this piece of music and it's incredible, but I'm referring to the in-game character
Okay.
as the creator. So this masterful musical piece is nearly as twisted as its creator.
Let's hear it.
Here we go. There we have it.
I think I know what it is. I'm not certain, but it sounds very familiar, and I kind of think I know what it is.
This is actually one of those like pieces of game music that I've is incredible. It's that piano is so, as someone who has played piano before, I'm like, how? That it doesn't seem real. So it's a fantastic song. It's one that I love. And so when Kurok suggested this one, I was like, perfect choice. Nice. So if you
and
haven't,
if my guess is right, nay, I shan't say it.
Shan't say
never,
it.
never mind.
but if you would like to play along in our soundtrack spotlight contest, if you correctly submit the game that this piece of music is from by either commenting in our Discord, on YouTube, wherever you're listening to or watching the show, we check it all, and we will. If you correctly guess the game, then you get to submit a song and hint for a future episode. So good luck to all you musical geniuses out there. So, but with that concludes this episode of Team Chat Podcast. I had a great time recalling our
too.
pet peeves,
Yeah.
getting some anger out, just
Yeah,
being able to
very
vent,
cathartic.
and rant a little bit.
Yeah.
it feels good, and we hope that it feels
Reminds
good
me
for
of
you
Rage
too.
2.
Oh, biggest pet peeve of all time. Rage 2.
really the-
Boring ass mission design. Terrible.
I mean, really, that just belongs on its own list of when the whole game is bad.
Yeah,
because it is.
I love that. That's the one. Sorry,
Oh my God.
Rage 2 developers, but
No, I'm not sorry. They made a bad game. They should feel bad.
all right. Well, anyway, everyone, I hope you have a great rest of your week, and we will see you all next time. Bye.